It's quite clear what's anti-Semitism and what's criticism of Israel. Anti-Semitism is Jew-hating. It's simple as that. Let's bring our panel. Richard Tice is here.
I mean, this is horrific. And what it's showing us, regrettably, is that the Labour Party is still absolutely riddled, bluntly, from top to bottom, with anti-Semitism. Activists, members, candidates, councillors. What about the vetting process? I mean, the grief that I get when one of my candidates might say there isn't a climate crisis, and apparently that's appalling. I mean, this is chalk and cheese compared to what's going on in the Labour Party. I just think it's utterly appalling. And then you see what's happened outside Tobias Ellwood's house with a former Labour candidate, the Tory MP, with these pro-Palestine. I tell you what, they're pro-Hamas marches. I went to have a chat with a group outside the BBC 10 days ago. They wouldn't have any form of discussion. They shouted, they abused me, they ramped up the noise. They didn't want to have any form of discussion at all. These people are not rational, they are vile, they're intimidating, they're anti-Semitic, and I think the Labour Party is riddled with it.
Arlene Foster was with us too. Long-serving politician, you were the leader of the DUP, you were the First Minister. Did you ever have a baying mob outside your home?
No, never. And I think for Tobias Ellwood and his family to have to endure that in their own private space is very, very concerning. And it's a new low, I think, in British politics, if I'm honest. But to go back to Rochdale, I mean, we had Tony Lloyd, who was the Member of Parliament, hugely respected man.
Very nice man.
Served in Northern Ireland in the Shadow Cabinet, loved by people right across the political spectrum. How on earth did the Labour Party select somebody such as this to replace him? I'm just amazed.
Well, he's politically experienced, isn't he? He was an advisor, wasn't he, in Blair and Brown's government?
But the point is, he made these comments at a meeting of the Labour Party, really inflammatory, offensive remarks. It's beyond belief that somebody wants to be
And I'm sorry to
say,
for Siobhan to say that, you know, it was taken out of context. Scarlett. What context could make this right?
I think the Labour Party has got to tell us all who was at that meeting. Who was at that meeting, senior figures in the Labour Party, who didn't think it was appropriate to raise a veiled flag? I think this was back in late October.
It was.
The fact that he then passed vetting and was approved as a candidate is frankly unbelievable.
Yeah, and he's just, and people like Scarlett saying, "Oh, he's a very moderate person." If that's moderate, as for Ali's moderate, what are the extremists saying?
I mean, you've heard it on this channel before, but we are at Everest Base Camp of sectarian politics going right across the whole United Kingdom. This candidate, in his launch video, he gave half the video in English.
That's correct.
And half the video, I think it was in Urdu.
We think it was Urdu.
And we've no idea what was said, but I mean, you sort of think, where is this going? I would quite like our electoral politics in this country, if it's OK with everybody, to be conducted in English. I think, frankly, that's the right and decent thing to do.
Absolutely.
But I do feel
although
for the
there
electorate.
is a huge ethnic minority in the country.
We can't have our...
Why can't you cater to them as well?
Well, they should learn English.
If people want to enjoy the privilege of living in the United Kingdom and want to be involved in our electoral process, then it has to be conducted in English. I don't think that's unreasonable.
Well, I think there's if there is a sizable minority, you have a private meeting with them. If they need to ask questions and they don't speak English, then they can have that conversation with the candidate. But to do it in a launch video, I think was sending out a very strong message as to where he was coming from. And the electorate in Rochdale now don't have a Labour Party candidate to vote for. They have 3 ex-Labour Party candidates. It's very confusing for them. Very, very confusing.
Now,